afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture just to see how those incidents affect our daily lives. Listen, whew, I've had a week, but please tell your family, your friends, your coworkers, and the folks you won't even like that I'm over here making these videos, child. So, had a little glitch in the system over here. I thought I had put out season 1, episode 7 of And Just Like That, and I did not. I thought I put it out last Sunday, but I did not. So here we are today with season 1, episode 8, entitled Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered. So I've already watched the video. I've already watched the episode, and it was just a okay episode. There was nothing earth crashing in this episode, so I'm just going to talk about each one of the ladies individually. So I'm not going to be going in any particular order. So I'm going to start off with Carrie first. She's having issues with her downstairs neighbor, being young and loud. She talked to Seema about her, questioning like, how is she able to rent this place and afford this place and things like that. You know how old people do. We know how we do. Where her money coming from? Who her peoples are? All those types of questions that as you get older, you start asking, particularly when you're around a whole bunch of folks. Seema tells her, well, she might be a Russian prostitute because in her way, because she's a realtor, that's normally what happens. She's like the high-priced girlfriend of a Russian oligarch or some mess like that. So Carrie is showing Seema her vast collection of clothes. One thing that you could say about Carrie is that she has a vast collection of clothes, and she did recognize that when she bought her clothes, it was hip and in style, and now it's considered to be vintage. And she was a little upset about that. But she has Rose to help her. Rose is Charlotte's daughter. And so Rose is helping her organize and catalog and get her clothes in a certain type of order. And so she's doing it. Her pay is going to be that she gets a few of those vintage pieces. So everybody's happy with that. I did tell you that I hope I told you that she showed Seema her Versace outfit, and Seema was very excited, and she pulled out a cigarette, and Carrie was like, no, we don't smoke in the apartment, because if it smells like smoke, then I want to smoke again. She says, I indulge myself a cigarette once a day on her walk. So she told Seema that she goes outside looking like I'm paraphrasing now. But she told Seema she go outside looking like Dexter's mom on Dexter's Laboratory with the scarf and with the plastic Playtex gloves. Wow, I hollered. I was like Dexter. But anyway, the neighbor one night was just making a whole bunch of noise down there with her little hipster friends, and Carrie hollered out of the window, basically, do y'all mind? Stop. And the neighbor came over the next morning to apologize, and Carrie was in her mud mask and her clothes or whatever. But anyway, the neighbor came to apologize. Carrie goes out with Miranda. They have Miranda and Charlotte, they have lunch, and they kind of talk about it. After they have lunch, Carrie buys her neighbor a brownie so that she can, she just let her know that, hey, I want to be neighborly, which was great. She goes to give this brownie, and the neighbor's boyfriend comes out and collects it and says, oh, well, we don't eat sugar, so she can't have that. So another night happens, and then the music starts to be very, very loud. So Carrie goes downstairs to talk to the neighbor, and then she goes down there and finds that the neighbor is basically by herself. She's asleep. She's drunk. The door is open. The music is blasting. So Carrie turns down the music and she picks up the girl's package and she finds her name is Letitia something something. And she blows out the candle. She closes the door. She goes back upstairs. We later find out that the neighbor is some kind of Hollywood jewelry designer, and she decided to move to New York to get a different perspective, a fresh start. So basically, that is it about Carrie. It wasn't too much. The show opened up with Miranda, so I guess we'll start talking about Miranda. It opened up with Miranda. Miranda is at a rally, a LGBTQ rally that's being hosted by Che, and Che is on stage being Che, rallying the troops and whatnot. And Miranda is mesmerized and in love, She looks over to her left and she sees her son and the son's girlfriend. And right as she sees her son and the girlfriend, Che is talking about how they should no longer hide who they are and no longer do all of this stuff. Excuse me. They should no longer hide. They should no longer do all this stuff. And she sees Miranda just slinking out of the crowd or whatever. So as the event is over, Miranda comes back with these iced coffees for Che. And Che is asking her why she's slinking around. She says, well, I saw my son and I hadn't told my son about it. And Che was under this impression that they were in an open relationship. I don't know how Che would have come to that conclusion, but they've come to the conclusion that they were in an open relationship. And Miranda was just like, it's new to me. Everything is new. She was like, no, I don't. Che was telling Miranda, no, I don't do this. I don't break up marriages. I don't do anything. You led me to believe that everything was okay and that he knew. Miranda had no retort for that. But Che told her that, she wasn't going to entertain her unless she knows that either they're in an open relationship, he's okay, or they're getting ready to get a divorce or whatever. But she wasn't going to be with her. And, as Miranda, Miranda hasn't come out yet, so she wasn't going to be in a relationship with Miranda like that. Miranda tells her husband, she goes back and forth with Carrie. Her and Carrie and Charlotte have lunch. It's the same lunch that I talked about earlier. She tells everybody what's going on. Charlotte looks at her, gives her a look, and she's like, oh, well, you don't. Miranda's looking at Charlotte like, you don't approve. Charlotte's like, I can't tell you that. I'm just shocked to hear what I'm hearing. She says, but I can't tell you how to run your life because I'm running my life a different way. So, Miranda and Carrie break off. Same thing that I talked about earlier. She tells Miranda tells Carrie that she is going to divorce her husband. Carrie, just asks her, are you sure? Is this what you want to do? And she says, yes, because I love Che and I want to be with Che. So Carrie tells her, well, you do what you need to do and buy her husband a brownie because she's about to break some bad news to her. So that's basically what happens after that is that Miranda does what she said she was going to do. She asks her husband for a divorce, and then she gets into a cab going to Cleveland because that's where Che is going to do her next show. She's going to Cleveland to be with Che. And so last but not least, we have Charlotte. Charlotte's storyline wasn't all that big. Basically, Charlotte was in the bathroom trying to convince her husband to wear one of those little Fitbit rings so they can tell about how his health is doing. And he was like, well, you got, they're being playful. And he's like, well, I will, but you got to ask me properly. So she gets down on her knees like she's proposing. Excuse me. She gets down on her knees like she's proposing, and she asks him to wear the ring, and he says yes. And he's like, well, while you're down there, can you do a little something? And Charlotte was like, sure, I can do a little something. And she's down there getting ready to do it, and here comes Lily. And she bopped that door, Charlotte slammed that door so hard, she hit Lily in the head and kind of bruised her little forehead. And she was trying to talk to Lily about what was going on. And instead of being honest about, hey, you caught me and your father in a compromising position, she tells her that she was down there checking for cancer. Charlotte, where's your medical degree, Charlotte? Where is your medical degree? But you tell that baby that lie. And so, the little girl is worried like her father's going to have cancer or something like that. So Charlotte goes to lunch, the same lunch that we were talking about earlier. And she's telling them that, Lily is getting older or whatever. And she needs to talk to Lily. The girl said, well, take her out to dinner and explain what's going on. So that's what Charlotte does. She takes her out to dinner. They're sitting down at dinner, and both of them are in their phones. But as the food comes, Charlotte tells Lily, hey, the food is here. Let's get out of our phones. And you know how teenagers are. Well, you were in your phone. She says, yes, but dinner is here, so let's sit down and let's eat. So they go to do that. And I don't know where Lily went. I think she went to the bathroom. But as she went to the bathroom, her phone goes, and it the screen opens up so you can see what's going on. And we find out that Lily has I guess they call it a Finsta, a fake Instagram account or a secret Instagram account, and her mom doesn't know anything about it. And so she is very upset with that because she sees her do, you know how they do those little mirror poses. She sees her doing a mirror pose and she's shocked. And then they have a conversation about it, and it's just okay. And that's basically the episode. It wasn't any wow factor within this episode. Carrie and her neighbor are talking or whatever, but there was no big wow thing other than it's interesting now that Miranda has come out and she's has dived head first into this relationship with Che. But I don't think that Che is that into Miranda. I think it's the sex, and that's all it is for Che. But for Miranda, this is like her first. Che is basically her first, so she is in love. So we'll see what's going on for the next episode. Like I said, this was just a very it was an okay episode. There was there was nothing ground shattering about anything that went on with this episode. But y'all let me know. Have you been watching the show? Do you like the show? Leave those comments below. And as always, share this video if you care. Also subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, please hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I have new videos and when they come on. So today you all are probably getting two videos. You're getting last week's video that I thought I uploaded, and you're getting this video. So watch the videos, enjoy, and as always, bye-bye.